debate will feature a Republican candidate, Tom Shaw of Lorenz, and Democratic candidate Susan Bangert of Algona. Both candidates are seeking their first elective office. My name is Chris Verba, and I'm the editor of the Pocahontas Record-Democrat, and I will be moderating tonight's proceedings. The Humboldt, Kasuth, and Pocahontas County Farm Bureau members and the Pocahontas Record-Democrat are co-sponsors of tonight's debate. That seemed like an odd applause line, but thank you nonetheless. Tonight's debate is being filmed and will be available shortly for viewing on YouTube. We're trying. We're trying to give access. We'd like to thank the Rialto Theater and its manager, Kyle Horner, for allowing the use of the facility tonight, and for Kyle's efforts to help set up for the debate. We'd like to thank Pocahontas Area Community Schools for allowing us the use of the second podium. I'll let you guess which one that was. And to Bill Strack for providing his expertise and allowing us the use of the school's video camera. We'd also like to thank both of the candidates for their willing participation in this forum. We hope it will accomplish its purpose and allow you, the voter, to make an informed decision as you prepare to cast your ballots this November. Most of all, we'd like to thank everyone in tonight's audience for attending. We understand we have a bit of political competition this evening, some kind of statewide office debate. I really don't know too much about it. Following each candidate's opening remarks, a series of questions will be put forward. The questions were authored by myself and were also taken from responses from questionnaires that were submitted to a variety of stakeholders within the district this summer. The questions will cover economic development, education, agriculture, state government, social, and other issues that pertain to the district specifically and the state at large. There's no specified time limit for question responses, and will be at the discretion of the moderator to maintain the debate's progress. It's hoped that this format will provide the candidates an opportunity to demonstrate their engagement and knowledge of the issues. Following the questions, each candidate will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. The debate will last no longer than 90 minutes. So without further ado, we'll begin the debate.
Susan, I'd like to welcome you.
Okay, thank you. Well, good evening. I'd like to thank the Farm Bureau of the members of District 8, the Pocahontas Record-Democrat for sponsoring the debate, and a special thanks to Chris Verba for all the work that he's put into this. I know it's been a lot of running around and quite a bit of hassle for him, and we really appreciate that. Many of you already know me, but for those of you who don't, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've lived in North Iowa all my life. I was born and raised in Forest City, Iowa. I'm the fifth of 9 children. My father was a factory worker and my mother a homemaker, and my parents always stressed the value of education. Fortunately, with the help of government loans and scholarships, 8 of us were able to attend college and graduate. My family's story is a perfect example of a government program that works. We were given a helping hand, and it helped improve ourselves. It wasn't a handout, and all 8 of us have paid back every penny of our student loans and have paid taxes all these years on the higher incomes we've earned as a result of our education. I met and married my husband Kevin while in college, and we took our first jobs in Algona. Excuse me. We have 3 children, 2 of whom are married, and 1 granddaughter. My husband Kevin is the chief of police in Algona, and I'm a speech-language pathologist in the schools. Education is an important part of a child's life, and I had a wonderful 7th grade civics teacher named Miss Seawick. And anyone that ever had her will never forget the 3 R's that were in her classroom. You know, up on the board, were recited most days, and those 3 R's for civics were rights, respect, and responsibility. And I think those three values are something that came back to me and have helped form a cornerstone of my political beliefs. However, I feel today we've strayed from these three R's. And I would like to restore civility and trust with both parties working together to get things done. I'm running for state rep to bring people together and keep our state a wonderful place to live and work. Iowans expect us to put politics aside, to listen and do what's best for our state. I agree with former Congressman Jim Leach, who is traveling nationwide encouraging bipartisanship so that people from all political perspectives can work together, finding solutions for our problems. I'm the kind of person we need in this race, who has the ability to bring people together. Iowans traditionally value education and have a work ethic like no other state in the nation. The Windmill program at Iowa Lakes Community College is a perfect example of partnering between educational groups and industry. The state-of-the-art Iowa Central Biofuels Testing Lab is another outstanding example. We need more partnerships to build on Iowa's agricultural base and renewable energy. I'm the person who can help bring education and industry together to create jobs. I support programs like Save Our Small Business legislation that's designed to help small businesses. This created a small business loan fund, giving businesses access to capital. I have been a small business owner, and I understand that having funds available at a critical time can make or break a business. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I will promise you that I will always listen to you, and with your help, seek solutions to our common problems. And I'd like to thank you for coming this evening. I appreciate the turnout. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to echo your remarks as far as the Farm Bureau and for Chris and the Record Democrat, the Rialto Theater, and everybody else that worked very hard to put this event on tonight. And of course, I want to thank all of you for attending. We were discussing earlier, Ag Secretary Bill Northey and his challenger had a debate up in Spencer, and with the media, they had a attendance of about 30. So it just shows the interest here in this House district, and I really appreciate you coming out to learn about Susan and I, not only our differences, but what visions we share together. I would like to recognize my wife, Diana, here in the front row. We've been working on this for well over a year, and believe me, you can't do this without the loving help. And so thank you. My mother is also here in the audience. Her and my father instilled a lot of great values into me, what I call traditional Iowa values. Unfortunately, my father is home ill and could not attend this evening. I was born and raised in Lorenz, graduated from Lorenz Marathon High School. And after school, I didn't have a whole lot of direction in my life, so I kicked around for just a couple of years before I made one of the best decisions I could have ever made when I enlisted in the United States Navy. Now, I wasn't sure if I liked the Navy or not, so I hung around for 20 years just to make sure I liked it. Not one for rash decisions. After retiring from the Navy in 2002, my wife and I decided to move back to Lorenz. There was an opening on the police force there, so I came back and joined that. And in 2006, I was appointed as chief of police there in Lorenz. I think I'm one of the last people that ever thought that I'd be running for office. I never had any desire to run for office, but I kept sitting around saying somebody has to do something. Who's going to go down and try to fix the problems down in our state house? I got tired of yelling at the TV. I got tired of crumpling up the paper. I got tired of crumpling up the paper and throwing it at the TV because I was very frustrated with the things that I saw going on down in our state house. Well, about a year and a half ago, Diana and I went down and visited our beautiful Capitol complex, and we decided to go over to the South Lawn where all the war memorials are. And one of them really caught my eye, and that was the memorial put up by the Sons of the American Revolution. And in reading it, they list 40+ names on that memorial of Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried here in the state of Iowa, something I had never given a thought to. And I asked myself the question, if those heroes of our American Revolution were alive today, would they recognize what our constitutional republic has evolved into? Sadly, in my opinion, and as I talk to many members or a lot of citizens here in the district, their answer is the same as mine, no. It's good to have all of you here because you get to be a hiring committee. If you've never been on one before, you get to be on one now. And on November 2nd, you get to cast your vote to see which of the two of us you want to have represent you down in Des Moines. Now, if you've been on a hiring committee before, you know you don't pull any punches. You ask hard questions. If you have a prospective employee sitting in front of you, you want to make sure you know everything about that employee. And so I encourage each of you, not only in this race, but every campaign that's out there, to take Thomas Jefferson's advice and question with boldness. We are responsible for this constitutional republic. It is up to us to pass it on to our children and to our grandchildren. So question with boldness, and let's start holding our candidates and our elected officials accountable. Thank you.
All right. Tom, the first question will go to you. The property tax structure in Iowa places a disproportionate burden on commercial business and industry. In Pocahontas County, using 2009 property tax rates, agricultural property assessed at $400,000 and levied at a rate of $27 per $1,000 valuation paid $7,157. A residential property assessed at $400,000 and levied at the same rate paid $5,066. By comparison, a $400,000 commercial or industrial property paid $10,800. This disparity is often cited as reason why commercial and industrial businesses do not relocate or stay in Iowa. If elected, what would you do to make the property tax structure more equitable for business and industrial development?
Well, that's a very good question, and a question on everybody's mind. If anybody's received their property tax bill lately, property taxes just in general are way too high in Iowa. I spoke with a group of business leaders and down in Des Moines, got grilled very heavily, that question with boldness, questioned by a 3-member panel with about 30 representatives of various businesses here in the state of Iowa. And we discussed this. We need to understand that corporations do not pay taxes. We always want to tax corporations saying, well, they're rich, they can afford to pay for it. They don't pay for it, they just pass the price on to us. So it is very important that we reduce those property taxes. South Dakota has done so, and they've attracted a lot of businesses there. So that is important. I did get endorsed by the Iowa Association of Business and Industry because they seem to agree with me that property taxes have to be looked at.
Susan?
Well, excuse me, it's my understanding for the property taxes that it's the county board of supervisors that are setting much of those rates so that it wouldn't be a state issue as far as that goes for that part. But I think there's many things that we can build on in the state of Iowa. There's so many positives with our tax. There's so many different tools that we can use to attract employers. And I think we ought to take a look at everything. I think we ought to take a look at property taxes and see how we compare. I think that we could also look at other instruments, but maybe that's a question. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, Chris, and that'll be a question you'll have later on.
Could I respond to that? It does become a county and a local school issue when the state legislature fails to fund fully schools. Property taxes have increased over $200 million this year because the legislature did not fully fund schools. So it does become a local issue.
Susan, would you like a response to that, or would you like me to move on?
Well, I know that is a big problem, and I have experienced that as being an educator, that when they don't